युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात् व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः एकेह कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्यनन्ताश्च बुद्धयो व्यवसायिनां यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः वेदवादरताः पार्थ नार्यदस्तीति वादिनः कामात्मानः स्वर्गपराः जन्मकर्मफलप्रदां क्रियाविशेषबहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां दयापहृतचेतसां
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानंदं कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुं। Till now, Shri Krishna has advised Arjuna, if you desire heaven after death or rule the kingdom as a king, do your duty as a Kshatriya. In case you do not wish for kingdom or heaven, then also you should do the duty. With samata buddhi, that is accepting the result equally at any cost, you should not refuse to do your Kshatriya Dharma. Further, he continues his advice in the 39th verse and describes the glory of Samabuddhi. He says, Hey Partha, hitherto I have explained to you Sankhya Yoga or analytic knowledge regarding the nature of spirit of life or Jivatma. Now listen, O Partha, as I reveal Karma Yoga, when you work with such understanding, you will be free of all the bondages of karma in this world. The word Sankhya comes from the root Sana means complete and Kya meaning to know. So Sankhya means a complete analytical knowledge of something. The Sankhya Darshana is one of the 6 philosophical treatises in Bharatiya philosophy. Makes analytical enumeration of this entity in cosmos. In fact, thousands of years later, Gautam Buddha used this as a basis of Buddhism. Hence, Dalai Lama accepted graciously the origin of Buddhism from Sankhya Shastra. In this verse, Esha te bihita Sankhya buddhirege tvimam shrunu means first Sankhya philosophy is explained. Now, Buddhi Yoga will be described. Here the word Esha is used for Samabuddhi, which is also described in Sankhya philosophy. When one understands the Deha and Dehi, that is the mortal body and immortal Jivatma, one experiences the Siddhi Sthiti or accomplished mystic state. Sankhya Yoga explains the mortal body is bound to the afflicted by raga, dvesha, that is hatred and revenge, which causes disparity and differences among the people. To avoid this, one should have Samabuddhi. So Arjuna, listen about the Samabuddhi in Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga or Yoga of the intellect. Subsequently, Shri Krishna explains how intellect plays an important role in bringing the mind to a state of detachment. The word imam means in this Samabuddhi Karma Yoga, one should know how to get it. What is its form? What is the glory? Listen carefully, says Lord Krishna. Buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi means, according to Lord Krishna, if work is done with hatred and revenge, then one becomes a sinner, like the Taliban. But if one does with Samabuddhi, then it is not a sin. If we don't want to understand this preaching, take the example of terrorists killing the innocents with the hatred, that is a sin. But without hatred, with noble idea of protecting innocents, if terrorists are neutralized, it is not a sin. So Lord Krishna describes Arjuna, if one is partial, has preconceived wrong notions and fights with hatred and tries to take revenge, then he becomes a sinner and has to pay for his sins. But if one fights or as his Kshatriya Dharma to preserve and protect the Dharma and the righteousness and the good people with the Samabuddhi, then it is not a sin. He says, Loka Sangraha Mevapi Sampashyat Kartu Marhasi. This means if someone does the duty selflessly for the good of the world and walks on the path of Sanmarga, then he becomes free of worldly attachments and bondages. So he has no rebirth and death. In Karma Yoga, there are two parts. One is Kartavya Vijnana, the science of duty, and the second one is a Yoga Vijnana, that is the science of yoga. Lord describes science of duty in 31 to 37 verses and explains the benefits of doing one's duty and also tells the losses incurred by not doing the duty, that is the akartavya. There are two types of akartavya, that is akartavya means inaction, not doing your duty or what is required out of you, and other one is doing the wrong duty or what you should not do. If it is done, that also becomes akartavya. So most important is without expecting pleasure for oneself, doing selfless service for the pleasure of others, for the good of the world, is Karma Yoga. One may feel such selfless services are rare nowadays, but recently we have seen the Corona warriors have done such selfless service and hundreds of them have given their lives while serving and saving the precious lives of Corona patients. They are role models and are to be respected. By doing Satkarma, good action, automatically they become Karma Yogis. Due to knowledge and philosophical bend of mind, they become Karma Yogi. Lord Krishna continues in the 40th verse and says, in this world, working with Samabuddhi Rupi Dharma, there is no loss or adverse results, and even little initiation of effort saves one from great danger and fear of birth and death. In this perpetual cycle of birth and death, one is not sure what one is going to be born and how he is going to be born in the next life, because one may be born as an animal, bird, insect or anything, and depending on the good karma or bad karma or dushkarma. So Lord says, Neha Bhakrama Nashosti, which means whatever is initiated with the Samabuddhi or balanced intellect is never destroyed. If mind is pure and balanced, the wishes also will be good actions or deeds also will be truthful and for the better of the world. Here the word iha is used to express only the human beings among the 8.4 billion species of life in this world, who are capable of controlling their emotions, hatred and revenge. Hence, this human form of life is very precious to get rid of all the sins. Even Kenopanishad says, O human being, the human birth is a rare opportunity. If you do not utilize it to achieve salvation, you will suffer great ruin. If you do not strive for realization of God in this life as a human being, you will continue to be in the cycle of birth and death in 8.4 million species of life for many more births. And Bhagavad Gita is nothing but a summary of Upanishads. So Lord Krishna continues and says, Pratyavayo na vidyate, means with Sakama Bhava, good intentions, the actions or karma done, for example, chanting mantra, homa, yaga, yajna, and if there is deficiency or defect in doing so, one may incur loss and may have adverse effect. For example, if somebody does Putra Kamishta Yajna and there is error while doing it, then he may get a defective child or somebody may die. But when any action or karma is done with the nishkama, without any desire, there is absolutely no adverse effect. Swalpamushasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat, means by initiating samabuddhi rupa dharma, one is protected from the mortal fear of birth and death. There are two ways of dharma or living. One is doing dana or charity, and for the needy people providing water, food, shelter, etc. like a Samaritan. And for example, during the corona pandemic, when workers started migrating, thousands were provided with water, food, shelter, etc. by Samaritans. So the second way is doing one's duty with dedication and devotion. As a doctor, it is my dharma to try honestly to save each and every precious life and fight till the death till the end. Thus, doing our karma or duties selflessly, that is nishkama, without expecting anything in return or advertising upreksha, is called Samarupi Dharma. This Samarupi Dharma should be followed in every profession. Samate or balanced equality are of two types. One is balanced anthakarana or endogenicity, which makes one realize that Vishwarupi Paramatma, the Supreme Being, is omnipresent. With this feeling, there will be no turmoil in the mind, irrespective of success or failure, profit or loss, praise or accusation, and the person remains unperturbed throughout his life. This is the best method to be followed to avoid anxiety and distress in our lives. The benefits from worshipping, vrata, japa, tapa, traveling to the sacred places is temporary, but the seeker with the balanced endogenicity achievers, they attain salvation and become Jivan Mukta. In the 41st verse, Sri Krishna Paramatma describes the way to achieve Samabuddhi and says, Hey Kunti Nandana, means descendant of Kurunandana, there is only one resolute for those with the Samabuddhi or balanced intellect, and their aim is only one, but the intellect of irresolute has many branches. The aim of Karma Yogi is to achieve Samabuddhi, which is a form of Supreme Being. Hence, attaining the Paramatma Tattva or principle of Supreme Being is also called Vyavasayatmika. And this Buddhi, because this is there is no desire for worldly things, and there is a complete sacrifice of worldly wealth, property, name, fame, and everything. In the other words, this Karma Yoga is done with the utmost devotion and dedication and selflessly. For the Sakama Karya, that is work with ulterior motive, has many ways of luxury and worldly pleasures and so many methods. So people pray to get their worldly wishes fulfilled, and then when it is fulfilled, they go to Tirupati or pay the money. That means their intention is not reaching the Supreme Being, but to get the worldly desires fulfilled. In the 42nd and 43rd verses, Lord Krishna says, "Hey Pradhanandana, those with the limited understanding get attracted by the flowery words of Veda, which advocate ostentatiously rituals for elevation to heaven, and presume no higher principles is described in them. They only glorify the portion of the Vedas that please their senses and perform pompous ritualistic ceremonies for attaining high birth, opulence, sensual enjoyment, and elevation to the heavenly planets." In this verse, Kamatmanaha means a person full of desires and worldly pleasure who cannot live without them. Swargaparaha means some work day and night to get heavenly pleasure. Veda Vadarataha Partha Nanya Dastini. Vadinaha means such people drowned in the worldly pleasure do not have the idea of Paramatma or philosophy or spirituality or love for God or attaining salvation. Yamiyam Pushtitam Vacham Pravadantya Vishtaschitaha means the one without the distinction between Sat, Asat, Nitya, Anitya, Avinashi, Vinashi. Such ignorant people wish for worldly pleasures. Then Lord says, Janma Karma Phala Pradam means such deeds give worldly wealth and pleasure, and this leads to their next birth, and their good and bad deeds decide what baggage they carry for the next life. Kriya Vishesha Bahulam Bhogascharya Gatim Prati means these are ways to attain worldly pleasures and wealth, which requires physical and mental actions. But Nishkama, selfless service, has only one path towards God. Thus, Lord Krishna describes Sakama and Nishkama karma to Arjuna. After more than 5,000 years, this a great lesson is equally important to each and every human being in this world, whether we want to choose the path of Preyas or Shreyas. Shri Krishnarpanamastu Shubham.